celebrating a remarkable journey for Mary Baer and John Gaughan, sharing the toughest of headlines that brought us together.
Hey, I'm Mary Baer.
To the heartwarming moments that tugged at emotions. There were life-threatening hurricanes and other severe weather, but also the brightest of days without a cloud in the sky.
A legitimate 10 on the Gaughan gate.
These two have been a constant on your TV screen and in our community for decades. Tonight, we pay tribute to their time, dedication, and commitment to so many. Mary and John, thanks for 30 years. Welcome to our special honoring Mary Baer and John Gaughan. The two are starting new chapters in their lives.
We think it's important to recognize their relentless dedication and their service to Channel 4 and all of Jacksonville. For 3 decades, Mary has been a guiding voice, bringing you the latest news impacting our community.
John has walked us through some of the biggest weather events in local history, providing the information needed to keep you and your family safe. Both are joining us for the next hour, commercial-free. We're going to look back at their remarkable careers here at the local station and look ahead to what comes next.
I already have tears in my eyes. I'm sorry. I don't want to start this way, but I mean, it's been a whirlwind. It's just incredible, and I'm just so grateful for being here.
I would agree. It's a whirlwind. 30 years doesn't feel like that. I look at those pictures. I'm like, who is that
Who are those
guy?
people?
Brown hair. What?
Well, you know,
Skinny, what?
these two have told so many of your stories. We now want to hear their stories of their epic careers.
News4JAX reporter Scott Johnson sat down with Mary and John and asked them to reflect on their extraordinary time at WJXT.
This is the story of Mary Baer and John Gaughan. So, how do I start? You two are leaving. A television story 30 years in the making.
I'm excited, and yet it's bittersweet.
One thing, it's a blink of an eye.
Right.
I mean, like we talk about our kids growing up, blink of an eye. You talk about, your career, and I got to tell you, 30 years, blink of an eye. It just was over
Absolutely.
before you realize it.
So let's turn the tape back, so to speak, to 1992. Bill Clinton was about to be elected president. Jay Leno just debuted on The Tonight Show, and Jacksonville was toying with getting a new football team. And then something else happened in the news. That would be a new newswoman just came to town from Ohio.
I was in Columbus, Ohio, a new mom, and married, and we both were in the business. And kind of knew that we needed to move on from where we were just because I wanted to grow. There was an ad for medium market looking for female anchor reporter.
Area of high pressure over the Atlantic Ocean.
And a weatherman with a dream of making it to Channel 4.
My boss knew George Winterling. And he's like, you need to grow up a little bit in television. I looked like I was like 14 years old. And so I met George once at a conference, and I was hooked.
John Gaughan and Mary Baer started just months apart, with John anchoring the weekend weather while Mary anchored the 5:30 news and was Channel 4's health reporter.
Tom said it, right?
Tom said it.
Get sand in your shoes, game over.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. I got sand in my shoes 4 days after I actually moved here. And that was it. I was hooked.
Eventually, it took a bad storm when Channel 4 had to be on continuously, and the two really started to bond.
There were probably tornado warnings
Yeah.
around, and they said, hey, we need somebody in the studio with John. Give him a little break here just to be able to talk with you. Mm-hmm. And I remember going in there and thinking, oh, what am I going to say? But I didn't have to say anything. We just had a kind of little banter going on, and It was so cool because then you're showing us this map, and I'm sitting there actually watching it with you. It's so exciting to be a part of the process.
Right.
Their stories on Channel 4 are ones you've watched for decades. And around the turn of the century, there started being changes when two iconic faces started winding down their time at Channel 4, Deborah Gianolis and George Winterling. Mary started anchoring the 6 o'clock news with Tom Wills, and John was dubbed Chief Meteorologist. Deborah Gianolis, George Winterling.
Huge. Yeah.
Talk to me about the shift in your careers and life when they both
left.
A humbling
Yeah,
type of
it was.
situation, right? Because you're stepping into some huge shoes. Yeah, in both cases, for sure.
For sure. And in the case for myself, we all knew George was going to wind it down. And so at this point, George had gotten it down to just the 6 o'clock newscast. He was like in semi-retirement, if you will. And so these other shifts had to be filled.
There have been so many stories, it's hard to remember all of them. Well, let's start with one they've watched unfold since setting foot in Jacksonville. That would be the Jaguars coming to town.
Membership has selected Jacksonville as the 30th NFL club.
When it comes to the Jags, I had a conversation with Sam Kavares, and he was telling me how this is going to happen, and he was very involved. Sam was very involved in bringing the Jags in here, and but the key to me was it seemed so unlikely, so doubtful. It will never happen.
Was the city on fire?
Oh my God, it was on fire. Well, and when we first as soon as we got the team, watching that was incredible to watch. And like I said, I have not been in an NFL city before, so I didn't know what to expect. And I was new to the city, and watching Tom and Deborah and Sam and this crew just get so incredibly engaged in this effort to get this team here to the city was really fascinating to watch. And then I'm reporting on it, and I'm out there at the landing, and the place is erupting, and I'm like, holy cow!
There have also been tragedies that brought the city together. One they both remember vividly is the tragic murder of an 8-year-old girl in 1998.
But a couple do stand out. And
Oh my, Maddie Clifton.
yeah, I think that one really stood out as so it was not sports related, it's not weather related, but the community all came together in a way I had not seen it prior to that. I mean,
And it hit
everybody
so
was here.
much. It was personal to so many of us.
Yes, it was.
My daughter was that age when
Right.
Maddie disappeared, and you know, there was this report of this young girl missing in the neighborhood. We couldn't find her all of a sudden. She had gone out playing with a friend, and then she's missing, and the friend she was playing with said, I don't know, I mean, we were playing baseball, and then all of a sudden she ran off. Well, this went on for days. That the search was on, so the whole community would come together.
And frankly, the exercise of remembering single big stories is hard because there have been so many. So I turned the interview to another aspect of working in television for decades. That's dealing with the public following your physical appearance.
Now we need to talk about the thing that's everyone talks about the two of you that you may or may not know about, your hair. Well, let's chat about
your
the
hair,
hair.
Scott?
Yes, Scott.
The hair has changed over the years, and that goes with the territory for both of you.
Iconic hair.
Both of you have iconic
So
hair.
mine was, I think people talked about my hair more maybe when it was shorter, but I love where it's evolved as I've gotten older.
You had this iconic look of the short hair.
The Dorothy Hamill.
The Hamill, that's it. Dorothy Hamill, right, ice skater.
But I think a lot of people related to it, and I think that's why I got a lot of phone calls. Women wanted short hair, and they wanted a certain style. They couldn't figure out how to do it.
John, yours is a different story.
Yeah, I mean, it had a different color to it in the beginning.
Yes, it did. So did mine.
And it was really funny, too, because one day I used to dye it.
Yeah.
You put color in there. And Bruce Hamilton would jokingly say to me, he goes, oh, I see you use a new shoe polish today.
John said he finally decided to go gray, but then offered up something a little surprising.
I'm thinking I'm going to go to your daughter in retirement. This is no joke. And I'm going to have Lizzie dye my hair various colors.
Oh,
just for
she
fun.
would love that.
So now these two are looking at other aspects of life beyond the news desk. For Mary, it's no surprise she'll return to her other love of horses.
I'm really passionate about animals and children, and kind of tied that into something that I hope to take, and I am taking with me into my next chapter of my life. It's called Grace Under the Oaks, and it's a therapeutic riding program. We call it adaptive riding, and it helps special needs children and adults get on the back of a horse or be on the ground with them and heal from whatever ailment they deal with, emotionally, physically. It's beautiful what happens.
And John, maybe surprisingly, says he will be relieved to not focus on the weather day in and day out.
There's the one thing about television, I don't know how Mary feels about this, but you are somewhat pigeonholed to being a certain look, a certain person, a certain way. And I'm kind of looking forward to kind of breaking away from what I have been over the last 30 years.
You better be prepared for the comments at the grocery store.
Now Jacksonville will lose two major voices they see every night, but will not be losing the two longtime locals who will still be around.
The immortal words of Dick Stratton, hey, didn't you used to be somebody? We cannot celebrate Mary and John's careers without remembering some of the biggest moments during their 3 decades.
And you know, we're going to start with Mary. Mary, you spent, what, the past month looking back on some of your most important stories.
Yes, and it was difficult to choose which ones to highlight, but it is so hard to decide what were my favorites through my 30 years. But the common theme in all of my reports, I wanted to help people. Michael Haim sentenced to life in prison for the murder of his wife, Bonnie Haim, the couple's son, sitting down with News4JAX. Do you think you could ever forgive him?
I'm not sure is the honest answer. I mean, I think it's certainly the right thing to do.
But Aaron Frazier, the couple's grown son, told me in 2019 it would be very difficult to forgive Haim. I sat down with Frazier 26 years after meeting him as a preschooler when Haim's family called the newsroom to spread the word about the missing mother. So, the last time I sat down with you, you were 3.5.
Yes, ma'am.
And we thought your mom was missing. And it turned out she really wasn't missing. Frazier says he doesn't remember much about his mother, but he was the one who provided the final piece prosecutors needed to charge his father, long suspected in his mother's disappearance, with second-degree murder. While making repairs in the backyard of his childhood home, which he won in a wrongful death lawsuit against Michael Haim, Frazier unearthed his own mother's remains. I asked him if he thought he might have been subconsciously searching for her.
There's no thought in my head that she's here. Like, I'm not digging to look for her. When I found the plastic bag and her skeleton, like, it wasn't, this is her. I wasn't actively doing it, maybe, but I'm not sure.
Aaron, I knew that she didn't leave you. I remember coming back to the newsroom and telling Tom Wells that she didn't leave him. There's no way she left that little boy. I just want you to know that.
Yes, ma'am.
I was full of hate and rage and anger. It was the why me.
And it's easy to see why. These newspaper clippings from the Gainesville Sun from 1987 are about her, an abandoned baby wrapped in a torn sheet, her face covered with biting ants left outside a gas station on the ground. Another gripping story, I was stunned to meet Katie Chorbach as an adult and be right beside her as she returned to that same spot where her mother abandoned her. After delivering her in a field before sunrise 26 years earlier. She was left at a gas station along I-75 next to a newspaper stand.
Being able to look at it and realize this is where I was left and found.
Found by 2 men working at the station back then. Years later, she was able to track them down.
Yeah, there were 2 wonderful men that kept in contact with me and wondered about my life.
A life lived with courage despite some serious challenges. For years, she wondered why her mother would abandon her. A close friend helped her track down her mother, named Charlotte, through the help of Ancestry.com.
Charlotte told me she left me next to the newspaper bin so that somebody would find me because she said that they would come and fill it soon.
Another sign she did care for the baby she left behind.
The one thing she asked me is if I thought God forgave her, and I said yes, because, you know, look at my life today. I was able to look her in the face and forgive her and realize that, you know, I was better off where I was.
Some of the interviews I was most excited to share were the life-changing stories of those waiting for an organ transplant. One of them hit close to home. It was Javier Cruz's idea to share the story of his leukemia diagnosis, treatment, and bone marrow transplant. The local radio personality and Channel 4 photojournalist wanted to help others through it all. He spread hope to others with cancer. And after a drive to find a matching bone marrow donor, one perfect match was found.
And I want to thank everybody that actually took the time to actually do the prayers.
When he was well enough to come home from UF Health Gainesville, Javier found a celebration in the newsroom. We were so proud of his courage and infectious optimism, but we would have no idea how painful his story would become. Javier left me with a message before he passed away. Tu amigo de siempre, friends, always.
I pledge to continue to share the word about the need for bone marrow donors and organ donors in general. Tia Cox is seeing this video of her for the first time.
And Torrance.
It's a story I had the honor to tell 21 years ago on Channel 4.
Tia was born with 2 holes in her heart and no aorta.
The story of a baby born with a malformed heart who doctors said wouldn't make it unless another baby's heart became available.
This is Zoe. She's not very nice to anybody besides me.
Now, with a tiny chihuahua she clutches close, Tia isn't quite sure what to think of her news story of survival.
You're a miracle young woman, 21 years old. And you know, it's thanks to somebody's decision that they made to give you their heart, their baby's heart. It's pretty incredible.
The only reason I'm smiling because I don't know what to say. So
I get it. I get it.
That reunion and seeing the video 21 years after meeting her as a miracle baby brought back some raw emotion from her mom and dad.
She made us all laugh. It made us smile, made us happy. So it makes me happy that she's happy and she's still here.
In order for us to have joy with Tia, somebody else had to make the sacrifice. And so it's just a blessing.
Do you think she grasps how very remarkable her story is?
No. I don't think she does.
But he does.
Here we are now, and we're praying for another 21.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning.
We went to church in Plains, Georgia to watch a former U.S. president teach Sunday school. Followers stood in line to get a glimpse at Jimmy Carter and packed into the sanctuary at the tiny Maranatha Baptist Church where Carter and his family have been going for decades. Visitors were riveted.
If you're living a life and you don't feel like you have real purpose in life and something that you ought to be doing with your existence, it's your fault and mine.
We have hundreds of people every Sunday who come to hear the only president of the United States to have taught a Sunday school class while he was president, and the only former president to teach one today, to teach them a lesson that they can use in their everyday life.
Pride runs deep here among the crew on board the JFK. As the captain says, this is their ship.
I'll never forget cruising the Atlantic aboard USS JFK in 2001. Landing on the deck of the carrier shook me to my core. But meeting the dedicated crew who live on this city in the sea gave me a new respect for those who serve our nation.
Ship's company, they do a good job, you know, damage control, everything, you know, to keep this boat running. Machinist mates, the engineers, everybody, they do a good job.
There's a lot of people out here putting forth a lot of hard work to help protect the country, and it's greatly appreciated.
Each pilot relies on many to get their jet off this airstrip in the sea. But 2 aviators in particular, high up in this tower, are responsible for every launch and landing.
We target the 3-wire because it's the safest wire. Right now he's targeted a 3-wire and he catches a 3-wire.
I got to watch the ship's air boss at work, a resident of Orange Park.
We have flown these patterns, we have flown these approaches, we have flown these departures, so it's pretty easy to tell when someone's not doing it right because we've been there already.
And his partner, the mini boss from South Georgia, a great team in action, keeping the flight deck active and safe.
All of this is the game plan here for these war games that you're doing. It's the plan.
I've enjoyed telling some of the lighter stories, like during the Olympics, I was allowed to share my lifelong passion for horses while trying to describe the sport of dressage.
So one of the things I've learned from riding since I was a little girl is as I've gotten older, I've discovered that riding gives me endurance and flexibility, and it helps keep my mind sharp. Flex her a little left.
With Suzanne Graham's guidance, I feel like I'm flying on Fiala with her signature move. It's a lengthening of the trot, but it doesn't always go as planned.
Right rein, right rein.
Wow.
She liked it a little too much.
And telling the story of a young local girl, Ava Kate, turned into an award winner. But it was the awareness we helped spread that makes me most proud. This little girl nearly died after a tiny battery accidentally popped into her mouth. Ava Kate had to undergo about 40 operations at 10 months old after swallowing the lithium button battery that was in a TV remote.
You can see that's not going to go down. That's stuck in her esophagus.
And that is the size of, you said a nickel?
About the size of a nickel.
Thanks to her family's quick actions, getting her to the hospital and pushing doctors to work to remove it, she survived, but it did a lot of life-threatening damage. We wanted to see it for ourselves. We placed a button battery on a raw chicken breast and left it there for 4 hours, the same amount of time the battery was stuck in little Ava Kate's throat.
So you can see it's been 4 hours. And if you look closely, you can see that the button battery has just embedded itself almost into this chicken, eating away even at the meat. I can lift it up, but look what's left behind. It's corroded, and it's even eaten away, like it ate away at the flesh. It's just disturbing to see.
And you can see all the black shards, and it's very corroded looking.
Ava Kate's grandmother, Billie Jo Burr, continued pressing on to raise awareness of the dangers of button batteries as her granddaughter recovered following dozens of surgeries. She even helped pass Reese's Law in Congress, named after a little girl who died from swallowing a battery. That law, designed to help ensure items using the batteries are made childproof. A victory for Ava Kate and all children.
An incredible victory. And you know what? The Child Unsafe story also resulted in some victories for me personally, in the station, of course. I won my first Emmy Award and my first Regional Murrow Award for that report. I am so very grateful for the opportunity to tell that story, and to win something for it is just icing on the cake, because I think we actually helped save some lives, and we continue to every time we talk about that topic, because we still need to tell people so much about those little tiny batteries and how deadly they can be.
And you just told again.
We got to tell it again. I mean, and thank God Ava Kate is alive and well. And
Well, while Mary was working hard to tell those just incredible stories, John was diligently checking out forecast models in the Weather Center and bringing you the latest conditions and tracking storms.
So right now, John, he's going to talk to us about some of the big and unforgettable weather events that have happened.
And most of us will remember all the tropical storms and hurricanes, but I got to reiterate, this has been the busiest 10 years in Jacksonville's history when it comes to those storms. But here's some really fun surprises in terms of our weather. The biggest weather stories, man, there have been so many weather stories, especially in the last decade. We've had our share and then some. But let me back you up to when I first got to Jacksonville, and in 1989, it happened. This happened in Jacksonville. We actually saw snow, and it happened right before Christmas. It was an amazing event. Didn't, take a lot of time for it to occur in terms of the snow to come down. I think it snowed only for a couple hours. But when it did, it came after ice. And so the story goes like this. It was Friday before Christmas and all throughout the house. No, not kidding. Just kidding. What was happening is that we had a low pressure, kind of like a nor'easter off in the coastal water in December, and it was bringing in rain and cold air simultaneously. The rain started freezing on the bridges. The bridges froze up. They had to shut them down. People were locked down. I-95 was closed with all the cars on it right before Christmas. It was tough. But in the morning, we had this snow on a Saturday, and people grabbed their sleds and went down the Main Street Bridge. It was just fun. And so it went, ho, 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 2 inches of ice and snow right before Christmas in 1989. Now, notwithstanding what happened there, there was a time period here where we had another incredible storm develop just off our coast, but this one was in the Gulf of Mexico, and it was in 1993. It's called a storm of the century. And I'll talk about these things in a second, but let me show you some of the video from 1993. The Gate River run was postponed due to weather because the winds were over 70 miles an hour. Sam Kavoris was on top of one of the bridges, the Hart Bridge, I believe, and he was literally holding on because the winds were that strong. And this storm of the century, was named that way because it was a blizzard that went from the panhandle with snow all the way up into parts of New England. Now, back to what we usually deal with when it comes to the big weather stories. We have hurricanes,
But don't forget these nor'easters, they've been becoming more and more frequent over the last decade, and they do a lot of damage. These last for days and days, and because of that, they do a lot of damage to the coastline, beach erosion, homes being lost, things of that nature. I estimate somewhere around $100 million has been spent on beach renourishment, rebuilding the piers, and just getting things organized over the last 20 years after the wake of just nor'easters. Now, when we start to include these things like Matthew and Irma, well, these are two powerhouse storms that just came so close to really causing severe damage for us. Yes, this Matthew just turned off the coast and went out to sea and into the Carolinas, sparing us from the worst of it. But it was a powerhouse, and it did cause flooding in parts of North Florida. In particular, that's St. Augustine, by the way. There's Flagler College. There's the fort. This is out here near Davis Shores, and they picked up quite a bit of flooding right in through here. This neighborhood was very susceptible to that kind of flooding, something that we'll talk about in a second. Then, just 1 year later, this is in 2017, Irma with a almost 6-foot storm surge downtown. But wait, was it a storm surge? The answer is no. In my mind, it was not. This is called a siege. What happens is that in every example that I show here, these are the top 3 flooding events in downtown Jacksonville. All 3 occurred because of southerly winds that came through Jacksonville, and basically flooding rains did take place, and all that water got pushed from southerly winds near Palatka all the way through to downtown. That's what flooded downtown out. And this track of the 1846 storm and Dora and Irma all basically were west of Jacksonville. And here's a track of some of the other storms that we've also been dealing with, because this graphic tells me bad things. I just want you to understand, this is not good. 5, Category 5 storms in the past 6 years within 225 miles of Jacksonville. Dorian, Cat 5, went to the Bahamas, luckily weakened, turned away. Michael plowed into the Panhandle, Cat 5 here, extreme damage out west. And then, of course, 2016 Matthew, Irma in 17, and Ian last year, all were once Category 5 storms. This is unprecedented for Jacksonville, and I think for the country. I haven't been able to check all the details, but 5 Category 5 hurricanes within the last 6 years coming within 225 miles of Jacksonville. And that leads us into the future concerns that I have, and one of the big concerns is in Georgia. If you live in Brunswick, Glenn County, Camden County, there's the city of Brunswick right here at the spit of that. Part of the island out to the east is Sea Island, St. Simon's Island. And what we have seen here, and this is a map that illustrates what flooding would take place. The flooding in a Category 3-4 storm would go all the way inland. Everybody would need to leave these areas in a strong Cat 3-4 hurricane just to stay alive. There's history here too. Brunswick was last hit in 1896, 125 years ago, with a very powerful Category 4 hurricane, and that's something to be alert to. Georgia folks, stay alert, and for St. Augustine, you guys got to figure it out down here. There's been a lot of damage. The city floods way too frequently. Maybe city leaders will figure this one out, but flooding is going to be continuous down south until something's fixed. Now, fixing my heart, wait, what? I have a revelation. Folks, I had a heart attack. I had a pretty serious condition, but not such a serious heart attack. I feel great right now, and I'm going to live for years and years. And by the way, I had nothing to make in terms of my decision of time to retire. It kind of pushed things into a forefront. But let me tell you more about that later. Let me show you my heart real quick and how things are fixed. This was my heart in December of 2020. Yeah, during the thick of COVID. I was having pains. No, actually, they weren't even pains. They were just pressure on my chest. And it's really critical because everybody hears, oh, the person's arm, whatever hurts, and then that's a heart attack. No, I had some pressure. I got up one morning. I was going to go run. I went out the door, ran about 150 yards, 500 feet. And I turned around. I'm like, nah, I don't feel it. I don't feel it at all. Too much pressure on my chest. Well, a little stubborn. You go figure. And went back home and then went on my day, and I told my doctor what was going on. Yes, my daughter's a doctor, medical doctor, and she said, go to the ER. And I still waffled a little bit, but ultimately ended up in the ER, and once I got there, Everybody's like seeing me walk in there like, hey, John, blah, blah. But it's this that they found. They put dye into your heart. This is when they go through your in a catheter. In my case, they went through the arm. And what happened here, you can see the blood just doesn't expand outward. Now, let me show you what happens after they put the stent in. Look at all the darkness there. That represents blood flowing correctly around my heart. And because the stent's in there, I'm good to go. I feel great. I don't think I worry about that at all. You shouldn't worry about it either unless you get the signs. If you get pressure in your chest, if you feel like you're having pains in your chest and you can't breathe properly, just get it checked out. Call somebody, maybe go to the ER. Don't wait around. Make sure you can get fixed like I got fixed and be heart healthy. I'm heart healthier. How's your heart?
It's doing great.
I'm size bigger. It's that you become chief.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's beating a lot faster here. And I just have to say that I think everybody at the table just saw, even in your farewell forecast, or farewell, in recapitulating all those storms, you were still giving a forecast for the future for Camden and Glenn counties, always the meteorologist, and then the heart. I mean...
Yeah, we didn't want to make a big deal of it because it was right there during COVID. It would have confused the situation because COVID was it was a serious situation for the country, for us, and this was right after it really kind of started getting pretty heavy around, the city of Jacksonville. So we had to back away from that, but I just want everybody to remain heart healthy, and I am, and life's good.
Future forecast and health advice.
Right, good stuff.
And there you are helping people again.
As always, right?
Oh. Like every good story, a memorable ending always helps to bring it home. And if you've been watching, you know over the past few weeks we have spent a lot of time celebrating Mary and John on air and also behind the scenes.
Yes, their last newscast and a luncheon here at WJXT with past and present co-workers really sent them off into their next chapter of their lives. Here's a look at Mary and John's final 24 hours at Channel 4. It was hard and emotional for everyone.
You were watching their last newscast here on Channel 4.
How do you say goodbye to such a dynamic duo so many people have invited into their homes the past 30 years?
Wow,
Yeah.
we're here.
It's really tough to
Final
imagine.
forecast?
I know
You're
the
kidding
final.
me.
My producer's yelling in my ear. This is your final forecast. Like,
better be good.
Never again. That's it.
Do you say goodbye to Chief Meteorologist John Gaughan during his final forecast after he crowns the next chief?
Well, Chief, take the controls, if you will, and congratulations. We'll be watching from home.
Passing the baton.
Exactly.
Do you say goodbye to news anchor Mary Baer after the shock wears off, as she says farewell to all our loyal viewers?
Do you still feel like are we awake?
Yeah, we're here.
I don't feel like it's happening. It's just unbelievable.
Mary and John's dedication to the Northeast Florida, Southeast Georgia community couldn't have happened without their family's support.
So here's the key to our success. Our spouses. This is Lori, my wife of 38 years this August.
Marty Fiorentino. We've been married 14 years, coming on 15 years. So it's been
Their family sharing Mary and John with our Channel 4 family.
Yes. Friends forever, forever, get it? And I mean, seriously, friends, co-workers, and we all love you. So thank you.
Behind the scenes, a blowout bash fit for the fabulous.
A man and a woman? No. An anchor man and an anchor woman. With our egos. Not a crossword in 30 years? And the explanation is very simple. She's so nice. And we have a partnership.
A partnership that sparked with this tryout conversation about lightning 30 years ago.
Did you tell me earlier that you were afraid of lightning?
Oh, yeah. I come here and I find out this is the lightning capital of the United States. They're touching the ground, lightning bolts coming out and touching the ground. What am I supposed to do?
We don't lose a lot of people, though, Mary. It's another thing to worry about.
Most of you know, who are in this room, how special this television station is. But think of this. Out of the more than 1,700 commercial TV stations in the United States, Is there another one that can say that a legend, George Winterling, was followed by another legend, John Gaughan?
Saying goodbye has been such a special time. Their last day now cemented in history. We have a proclamation. This is from Jacksonville Mayor Lenny Curry.
All right.
He has officially made today Mary and John Day.
So woven into our community's fabric. How do you say goodbye? You don't. You can congratulate them when you see them around town.
We want to thank you for your service, for all that you've done for all of us, and for all that you've done for your viewers. And we can't wait to see what you two do next. God bless you both.
Thank you. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Their departure is bittersweet for us after being together on TV for 3 decades.
And you know, there are so many viewers that have told us they feel like we're a family.
Family.
We are. And after years and years of crazy schedules, long hours, and even sometimes endless days on the air, their own families are looking forward to spending more time with Mary and John. They're sharing their memories and sending love and well wishes.
From the very beginning, Mary had sparkling eyes, a sweet yet devilish little smile, and such a happy spirit. She was a true delight from the very get-go.
From coast to coast, Jacksonville holds so much meaning to her as her parents built their retirement home in Jacksonville, Oregon, and she built her family and life in Jacksonville, Florida.
Mary, you're a blessing. Congratulations on retiring after 30 years. I know it seems like a twinkle of an eye for you, but for me, I'm delighted that you're going to be home for dinner and that we've got a wonderful life ahead of us. So thank you for being such a wonderful wife, and I'm looking forward to more time together. I love you.
She has always been such a bright, shining ray of sunshine. Mary and Florida, the perfect fit.
From our family to yours, thank you, Jacksonville, for embracing our sweet Mary and helping her create a life she'd only dreamed of.
Your support, kindness, and cheering her on, even through the toughest and most devastating of news stories, has been such a heartfelt gift.
She loves her job because she loves Jacksonville and all the wonderful people that she has had the good fortune to have crossed paths with.
Congratulations on retirement, 30 years, that's amazing. I just want to tell you that I'm proud of you and I love you and I can't wait to spend more time together. Let's go somewhere cool.
In fact, one of her most admired traits is her lack of pretentiousness. No big ego here, just one heck of a huge heart.
I'm Mary's brother, and I just want to say, go Mary, you nailed it. I am so proud of you.
As she launches into this exciting new life chapter, here's to faith, family, fun, philanthropy, and Fay-hala.
Hey sis, congratulations, you did it. I'm so proud of you, and I'm very excited to see where your next adventure takes you. I've always been impressed with your professionalism in the toughest of times, on and off the air. You're a very strong woman with a big heart, willing to share with every 2- and 4-legged creature. So, here's to a rockin' future where every day is your song. I love you, Mary, and I can't wait to see you.
Congratulations,
Mary.
Mary. I love you.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, Mary. Mickey and I wish you a happy retirement. We're so proud of you, and this has been a great 30 years for you and for Jacksonville, Florida, and have a great, great, great retirement. Love you.
Be silly. Kick up your heels. Get in some good trouble. Relax, refresh, and dream. Then gear up for your next life adventure, one of many more surely yet to come.
Hello, Gaga. I'm really happy that now you're gonna not have to go to work all the time and that we can hang out and go to Disney and fun places. And now I can go to your house more and help you with like the horses and the cats and all the animals that we have. And now I'll be able to make a bunch more crafts for you. I can give them to you all the time. I love you.
Hi, John. It's Bob Ryan. Are you really retiring? My goodness. And it was, what, 40 years ago? I was 15, just starting my career, and you were a few years younger. Congratulations on a great career and service to everybody that met you and knew you from all of your years with providing the best weather information. I'm just thinking of you, sort of what you're going to do. Just sort of sitting on the dock of the bay, watching the tide go away. All the best. Charge on.
I'm not going to get all sentimental over your 30 years at WJXD. You know how much I think that you did a great job there, and I love you very much. But the one thing I do want to bring up is that after 37 years of marriage, the fact that we got married in the summertime, that the hurricane season has sabotaged every one of our anniversaries. So this coming year, on our 38th wedding anniversary, just be forewarned that we are going to travel and enjoy it. And for that, I love you, and I can't wait for you to be home.
Congratulations and happy retirement, Dad. I can't believe it's been 30 years at WJXT. It seems like just yesterday you were coming to my elementary school class, the bucket of dry ice, trying to teach us the difference between an asteroid and a meteor and the different types of clouds. And even though I never learned my clouds back then, maybe now that you're in retirement, we can go to the beach, watch the clouds roll in, and you can finally tell me the difference in the clouds. I think one of them is the nimbus, but you might have to correct me on that. Either way, congratulations. I think everyone's going to miss seeing you on air. I know that I am. And just, I can't believe that you're retiring. You've always been an inspiration to me, absolutely awe-inspiring, the amount of hard work and dedication and love that you have for the field. And I know that's not going to end just because you're retired. So, congrats.
Congratulations, Dad, on your retirement. I cannot believe 30 years has flown by so fast. But you've had such an amazing career at Channel 4, and I'm so proud of you. I cannot wait for your schedule to open up so we can have some more amazing adventures like our most recent trip. I will never forget going to Santa Monica Boulevard with you, going over to Hollywood Boulevard, seeing the stars, the record-breaking snow at Mammoth, and then Park City in Utah, as well as Moab, and seeing the canyons. I know that this new journey for you is going to open up so many doors, and you and Mom have so many exciting plans ahead of you, whether that be chasing tornadoes or seeing the solar eclipse, going and climbing on glaciers and icebergs, even buying the catamaran and sailing across the Atlantic. This retirement just opens the door for such a new beginning for you, a beautiful journey filled with such joy and laughter. And I cannot wait for this next chapter in your life. You've been such an inspiration to so many people through your dedication, through your passion, and just through your overall willingness to be there for people through some hard weather and hard storms. I know you've inspired me to be more adventurous and to be able to go out and to believe in myself and have such passion for life. Thank you so much for everything you do. And congrats again, Dad. I'm proud of you.
Wow.
Wow.
Both of you.
Oh my gosh. I know you're just like breaking up. I was losing it too. It's unbelievable.
Happy anniversary times 37.
My family, my family, your family, this family, our families all colliding.
Right? When's
to
your
a
wedding
storm.
anniversary? When's your next wedding
It's
anniversary?
in August.
Yeah, you're gonna have to maybe
Like no hurricane season. You don't care.
Yeah, not this year.
Thank you. Holy moly.
That's
Countless
beautiful.
hours here at the station, here on the news set and outside of work, simply bringing us all closer together as co-workers. And you know what? Nobody has had a longer relationship with Mary and John than this man, Tom, who is now going to share his own memories of the two.
Oh, man.
First, let me start with two of the many Mary memories that I have. I'd like you to hear the very first comments that Deborah Jean Olson and I made about Mary 30 years ago, and we stand by them today.
Mary Baer has fit into our newsroom from the first day she got here. It seems like she's been here all along.
The newsroom looks forward to Mary coming to work.
One of the most terrific things is that Mary always wants to know how something is going to affect people.
She instinctively understands the heart of a story.
So many Mary memories over 3 decades together, but I have one that stands out from all the rest. 2016, Hurricane Matthew was threatening us with destruction and possibly even deaths. Because of my then 41 years as a newsman here at Channel 4 and the relationship that I have developed with you, our viewers, I felt compelled to speak to you personally about the extreme dangers this hurricane posed.
I want to talk to you people for just a minute, not as Tom the newsman.
I just received on my phone a dire warning from NOAA. I'd not had a chance to tell Mary what I was about to do as I began to read the warning. She listened as I grew emotional, sharing this very troubling message. Now watch what she did.
I want to talk to you people for just a minute, not as Tom the newsman. We've been together for 40 years.
She patted my arm to comfort me. That's Mary in a single moment. Always my partner, always supporting me.
Meet someone very special.
And just like Mary, John made an instant connection with all of us when he arrived here in Jacksonville.
You can see there's a little blue diamond there. That represents hail.
Like a steady breeze on a stormy day, John spent many sleepless nights steering us through hurricanes, tropical storms, nor'easters, floods, and more. We are grateful for his calm, reassuring voice.
This is a very powerful storm.
Most recently, guiding us through one major hurricane after another. Ian, Dorian, Michael, Irma, and Matthew. However, you should also know John has a playful side, too. My grandchildren, Jack and Adele, frolicking in front of the Weather Authority's green wall. As you can see, John put them up to it. He does this every time young visitors come to our studios. It's his joy.
Over here in red.
Years ago, I got a personal lesson on how much our viewers depend on John's every word when our area is under any tropical threat. And this was well before Matthew and Irma. We had been doing nonstop coverage of an approaching hurricane, which mercifully missed us. I came home at 2 o'clock in the morning. My wife, Gina, was still up. The TV was on. I told her how relieved I was that the threat was over. She told me John was still on the air. So she was going to keep watching until John went off. Who do you believe? Your husband or John Gaughan? I got my answer.
Yeah, John Gaughan every time.
All of us. So, you know,
Love that, Tom.
while you have known Mary and John the longest, everyone, not just you, everyone loves them. Whether you've been working here at News4JAX for 25 years or just 1 year, these two have really touched all of us, which is clear by the words from just some of our colleagues.
I grew up watching her on Channel 4 here, and then came in as an intern, and I saw her, and I was like, that's Mary Baer. That's the Mary Baer. It was intimidating, and then I got to meet her, and she has always been so kind, so caring, so down to earth. She just loves everyone.
So John is the person that you call if you ever have a question about weather, right? So when I was planning my wedding or a birthday party or a family event, I knew I could always call John, text him, email him, and he was always right about the weather.
When I think of John, I think of a guy who didn't care how many hours he'd already worked. It was all about the safety of the people of this community and watching what was happening in the world of weather to make sure they knew what was going on.
So when I think about Mary Baer, I get excited because Mary Baer is exciting. Like, she is the most bubbliest, fun person to be around. And I consider myself to be one of the luckiest guys in the newsroom because I had the opportunity to sit next to Mary Baer every single day on Anchor Row. So I got a chance to, you know, to see Mary and when she's having good days, when she's having bad days. But even on Mary's worst day, she's so sweet, so genuine, and so caring. And, you know, I'm really going to miss having that kind of personality around me.
So when I think about Mary, I think about her infectious laugh. If you ever get her going, it is so recognizable. You know, Mary is just such a joyous person, and she brings that to the desk when she's telling even the hardest of stories. She really tells it from her heart. She's someone that I have admired for a long time.
When I think about John, I think of a teacher, meaning that when he's on television and he's explaining a storm system or something weather related to the public, he doesn't just tell you, hey, this is going to happen or that's going to happen, but he also takes his time to explain what's going on. And it's something that's just so important where you're dealing with the viewer, is giving them the cause and effect.
In fact, for our viewers, you know, they can rely on you to carry us through storms. And I don't think anyone else can carry a storm the way you do. The storytelling and getting us through those tough moments, that's your strong point.
This is a guy who every day wakes up, loves doing weather, loves thinking about weather, and I think it really is portrayed every day when you watch News4JAX.
She is expert at allowing her emotions to come through in just the right amount. You never had any question about how Mary would feel about a touching, moving, compelling story. It's something that not a lot of people can do. So certainly not a lot of people in our industry can do in the position that she has been in.
Together, Mary and John, they are Channel 4. I mean, when you think of Channel 4, the first names that come out of your mouth, Mary Baer, John Gaughan. I mean, they've been here, of course, since '92. I was just a little tyke then, but of course, so many people have grown up with them. People my age have grown up with them. And I mean, they're legends here at Channel 4. Their legacies will continue to live on.
I wish I'd gotten to know you better, but I know this newsroom is better because you were a part of it. So I wish you both luck, and just really, really thrilled to be here. Wish I'd been here a little earlier to get to meet you both earlier. But based on how everybody else is in this newsroom, I just know you two are such lights.
So when I think of Mary and John together, the words that come to mind are classic, timeless, fun, and family. It's going to be so weird not having them here. Joking around, making fun of each other. Mostly me, they make fun of me, but that's okay. I'm gonna miss it. I'm gonna miss them. It's gonna be a lot quieter. Well, maybe not.
Somebody else will make noise. It's just,
No question. It's always been such fun here to work. It's never been a day of working. We just come here because we love this, and we love you too. We love everybody here. I often said to people when they come through the doors, there's 7 people you've never met that work here at Channel 4 that are just as friendly, just as loving their jobs as we do on TV.
It never is going to work, is it? I mean, it's not like, I've always, you know, you get to go out and meet children, you get to read books to them, you get to go to schools, right? We all do, and talk to the young people, and I always say, oh my gosh, if you can get into TV, you're gonna love it because you'll never, or whatever job you choose the one that you won't regret going to. I mean, I can't think of a day when I didn't want to walk in this door.
Right.
You know?
And we all feel so privileged that you let us in your living rooms, that you turn on the television, and that you look to us for the information that's important to you. We're really very humbled.
And I've got to say, I have a special relationship with John. All we do is joke and laugh and tease, and like the brother I never had.
Exactly.
But I'll tell you, Mary and I
know.
We talk about everything. We prayed together about hard situations, cried, laughed.
Yes. Stories, how to tell the story better, right? We all talk about those. I'm gonna miss you so much.
So much.
Okay.
We have given everyone else a chance to express their fond farewells to Mary and John, but now we're going to give them a turn.
Yes, we are going to start with Mary and some closing thoughts she has for you, dedicated viewers, and what's up next for her.
Okay, how much time do we have for this? Because, I mean, I could go on all night.
We're good.
So I just want to say that I spent last night blubbering, and this morning woke up crying as well. But they were good tears. They're tears of joy, of gratitude. I just still feel like I'm waking up from a dream. I always think it's like the Wizard of Oz, and you were there, and you were there, and you were there, and you were there. I feel like Dorothy. I will tell you that, like John, I've got plans. We definitely won't be bored. I don't believe in boredom. I can't get bored in my life. And thanks to my husband, who is just a delight, and these lovely people who help me at my farm. We all work together for this thing called Grace Under the Oaks. And I hope we can run a little bit of my explanation of it. So the mission of Grace Under the Oaks is really to get individuals on the horse or on the ground with the horse, working with them and encouraging them, teaching them skills that they wouldn't get anywhere else. So that is a special part of my heart, and it's something that I was able to co-found on our little farm in St. John's, and it's just our way of giving back to the community. And we do a special thing for special needs children and adults. So that's going to be my passion, one of my passions, I will say, as we move forward into this next chapter. But I also hope to still be around, okay? I'm not going away. I'm not going away, I promise.
We hope. We're counting on it. Your entire Channel 4 family, we love you, and we'll be cheering you on in your next steps. You know that.
Love you so much.
All right, John's turn to give us his own final farewell and share what is next for you.
There are so many big question marks for me and my wife, Lori, but this will sum it up real quickly, a little clip about something that could happen in the future.
2, 1, ready? Wow! All right, look at the boat. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Thanks, Lori. Thanks, Lori. Look at the boat. Oh, wow. Look at the boat. Look at the boat. This is great. Oh, I love the boat. The boat's beautiful. This is awesome. Yay. There's going to be rules. I'm captain. Right away, captain. What are you doing, Lori? Well, somebody has to work around here. John, wake up. John, you're not retired yet. There's work to be done.
Oh my gosh.
Be sure to check the weather before you go out on that thing.
What's she called?
We don't have a boat. It was a dream. That was the purpose. we were laughing so hard.
Come on!
Lori's waking me up off the desk because I have all these monitors that I do a lot of work in the stock market and futures market and stuff like that. So weather's always on my mind. Markets are too. But she wakes me up. Wake up, wake up. And I realize it's just a dream.
Oh, but you know what happens when you dream. You know what happens when you dream.
Yeah, sometimes they come true, right, Mary?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Yeah, I'm
Channel
here too.
4.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a dream.
It was for me, too. You don't know the whole story if you haven't read the article. You should read the article on News4JAX, but I worked in D.C., applied here. George rejected me. I looked too young, as he said. It's wait your turn kind of thing.
You were too young. You looked too young.
Too young.
Right?
10 years later, I got here. And
Fantastic.
so 40 years, we're wrapping it up.
Gosh, it's beautiful.
It is. And again, it has been a dream for me, but I'd also like to do a quick shout out to all the people behind the scenes here at Channel 4. I cannot tell you. The two of us look great. The four of us look great. And it's not our work. They've done it all behind us. Our directors, producers, all the people who have interned here, and there have been hundreds of people who have come through these doors. We really appreciate all the efforts you guys do for us as
Countless people who help.
And all of you at home.
Hold us up.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It's a dream. I'm still dreaming, I think. I feel like I got to pinch myself still, because like I said, I woke up bawling. I'm like, Marty, I'm so glad we moved here. I've met you, and my family still supports me. They love me, even though I'm 2,000 miles away from them. So
you two won't have to set the alarm Monday. Do you set the alarm?
No, I never did. By the way, a quick shout out. This is from an artist named Virginia. Help me out with the pronunciation. She did this from home.
Virginia, it looks like Paquet.
Wow. Oh, look at that!
Wow, from St. Augustine.
Yep, pretty impressive.
Oh, gosh. Well, you know what?
Thank you very much, Virginia.
We are so grateful for the legacy of both of you that you leave behind. We cannot wait to see what you do next, John.
We'll see.
I know.
We'll report back.
Dreaming.
Thank you both for the treasured memories, and thank you for 30 years.
Thank you. God bless you.